Hey everybody, I was about to do another pickups video, but none of my packages were shipping. I ordered a bunch of stuff from Right Stuff, and I waited a couple weeks and nothing was shipping. I waited a few more weeks and nothing was shipping, and I'm like, okay, alright, I'm not gonna let my channel die because of this. I'm gonna keep making some content. So I decided to do a what I've been currently reading video. And yeah, it's gonna be kind of like my RWBY video, except instead of RWBY stuff, I'm gonna be talking about other things I've been reading besides that. And yeah, just probably give like a score and general synopsis of it. And yeah, first off, I'm going to start with something digital. So normally I read my manga physically, or if I want to read it digitally, I will use a legal source such as the official Viz app. Or if I really have to, I'll use maybe like Bookwalker and just buy the ebooks. And recently, 2 weeks ago, I read all of Chainsaw Man in one sitting. I just sat down and was like, you know what? A lot of people have been talking about this series. I'll just start it real quick and I might like it. Who knows? I loved it. I read all 90 chapters at the time. 90 chapters. There's 92 right now because that was 2 weeks ago. It's a weekly series. And I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. It took me like 8 hours or something to do all 90 chapters. I just could not get enough. I loved it. Like Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man, it's got everything. It's got characters you love. It's got characters you hate in a good way. It's got plot twists you don't see coming. It's got just beautifully drawn and choreographed action scenes. It's got scenes that have some nice heart in them too. It's got pretty much everything you want from like an action shonen or seinen. And it does everything beautifully. Honestly, this is the first 10 out of 10 manga I read and started in a very long time. Try not to get a glare on the... I'll hold it sideways so it's not a glare, but Chainsaw Man is probably the only 10 out of 10 manga I've started recently. It's just fantastic. I 100% plan on reading more of it. One more digital series before I move on to the physical stuff. I have read all of Mashal, chapters 1 through 38 so far, and I like this a lot. Definitely at least an 8 out of 10. It really hits home. Like, it's not as good as Chainsaw Man, but it hits a lot of the same points that I liked. Yeah, this is the one that a lot of people say is like a ripoff of Harry Potter. But to be honest, it does it well. It doesn't feel like a ripoff. It feels like a genuinely quality parody. Oh gosh, what the heck? Why is it so bright? Flashbang out. Highly recommend this series. 8 out of 10 so far. Probably will get better. I really hope it does, and I assume it will, because I love this series a lot. Over the past couple of days, it took me 4 days to read, I have read all of Death Note. Death Note, this is the all-in-one edition. I have read the entire thing over a couple of days. Yeah, this series is fantastic. It drops off significantly in the second half, sure, but the first half of this manga is fantastic. At first, it's 10 out of 10. The last half is a lot worse. In fact, it's way worse, like 6 out of 10 is probably what my final score would be. But dude, this just kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Also, yeah, this is my damaged Death Note. This is the one that I bought new, and it came in a really nasty package. I'm like, oh geez, what did this get hit by a truck? Yeah, pretty much. It got squished, but whatever. I love this series, dude. This was so good. I think I was more invested in this than any manga I've read in quite a while. I don't think even Chainsaw Man got me this invested. But it's not as good as that. My final score for this, keeping in mind how incredibly good it was at first, and how personally invested I was in the storyline and what was going to happen next, I'm going to be very generous and give this a 9 out of 10. I just loved it. I just loved it. Even though it dropped off a lot in quality, I just could not get enough of it. I just had to see what happened next. Page after page, I just couldn't let it down. And here's the thing. This book is 2,400 pages about, I think. Yeah, about that. And it took me 4 days to read it. Normally, I don't read that much. Okay? And I just could not set it down. Yeah, it was just... I couldn't get enough of this series. Detective thriller was probably the one term I would use the most to describe Death Note. And if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check it out. I finally got around to reading this, like a year ago. I just kind of got bored, like the conviction arc and stuff that happened after that. It kind of lost me a little bit. I kind of lost interest a fair bit in like the pirate ship arc. I kind of lost interest a bit. And so I dropped the series, basically. There wasn't too much to drop. At that point, there was only like one more volume anyways, but, I'm like, I'm just not having fun right now, okay? And I bought this anyway. I thought, Berserk was so good at first. I'm gonna support Mura and just buy it. Just get it out of the way and buy it. So I bought it, and it's been sitting on my shelf for a really long time. Recently, I went back a few months ago and read volume 39. I thought it was okay. I thought, it's the same. More recently, I read this, and let me tell you what. I like this volume a lot. This actually kind of brought me back into Berserk. Like, this reminded me far more of the classic style, volumes 1 through 16 that people actually liked a lot more. I don't even know if I can open this because of the content in it. I might get in trouble with YouTube. I don't want to get restricted by opening this book. But this volume brought me back. I actually kind of like Berserk again. I will be pre-ordering any new volumes after this, and I will keep reading new chapters as they get translated. I actually have caught up to the new chapters, and I like them a lot. The latest chapter I actually thought was good. I won't spoil it or anything because, I know a lot of people don't read the new chapters, and they ended at volume 40. For physical readers, because there's no volume 41 yet, even in Japan. But it's good. I like the new chapters. After volume 40, like the scans, it's actually good. I like the new stuff that happened. It really brought me back into the series. And I ran out of storage space on the phone. So, let's not do that. Alright. I read volumes 1 through 3 of Given. It's a great series. It's a BL / banned manga. Not too much to say. I love it a lot. Check it out if either of those things sound interesting. Because if a banned manga BL that is genuinely good, this is my favorite BL ever, by the way. If that sounds enticing, read it. You won't be disappointed. All right. Real, Volume 1. This is the other basketball manga by Takehiko Inoue, the same author as Slam Dunk. I don't like this series as much as Slam Dunk. I've read volumes 1 through 4 so far, but it's good. It's definitely quality. The art is good. The attention to detail is good. It's a quality sports series. The wheelchair basketball part is actually pretty good. I like it a lot. It's a pretty interesting sport. Of course, if you like Slam Dunk, you'll like this. It's not like it's not like Takehiko Inoue got worse at writing manga. If you like his stuff, if you like Vagabond, if you like Slam Dunk, you'll like this. And I think it's good. If I had to give it, I never rated Given, did I? This is a 9 out of 10. All right. So far, I would rate this an 8 out of 10. Which I know that sounds weird considering I kind of said I didn't like it a second ago. But that's because Slam Dunk is one of my favorite mangas of all time. And so it's kind of hard to compare to it without sounding a little bit negative. But it's still very, very good. Next, a Hirono Sora, Volume 1. I read this. This is in Japanese. It's a good volume. It is basically what it's about. Is there's this kid who really likes basketball, and his family's really into basketball, and he wanted to go to a lesser known school and become good at basketball on his own without relying on like some fancy team. And so a lot of his teammates, they're really sketchy guys. They're mostly like ex-gang members and stuff like that. They're high school age, so they can't. Obviously, it's not like they're super sketchy or anything, but it's not as good as other basketball mangas I've read. But Sora, he's an incredibly likable character. I couldn't get enough of like him goofing around and stuff like this and stuff like that in this. I mean, it's very enduring. The basketball in it is also very good too. It's very accurate to the real sport. It's not. There's nothing insane in this. There's nothing like unrealistic. What happens in this manga is very realistic. In fact, I think this is one of the more realistic sports mangas I've read. I've seen the anime for this as well, and it was really good. It was by really good, I mean like 7 out of 10 seasonal anime, you know what I mean? A lot of people say this is kind of like a shoujo sports manga, and yeah, it's true, but it's not a big deal. Pretty good series. So far, just based on this volume, a pretty even quality experience. I would probably say like 7 out of 10 plus, maybe 8 out of 10, just based on this volume alone. Tropical Fish Yearns for Snow. It's a Yuri series. It's very light, very fluffy, G-rated. It's pretty good. It's cute. There's nothing too crazy going on in this, but it has a catch, and the catch is that it's not really a Yuri series. It's not really a Yuri series. But you don't know. It might be. Read the first volume and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Basically, neither of these girls really know if the other is actually into them. So it's like a friendship with Yuri baiting in it. But it actually works out quite well. Just based off that synopsis, that wouldn't sound like a good manga. This is a good manga. That's the difference. This is actually quite good. I would give this. I know I'm going really high with a lot of the scores, but yeah, I'd probably give this like a. I've read the first 4 volumes, and just based off of that, I probably would give it at least an 8 out of 10. All right. No matter how you look at it, it's your guys' fault. I'm not popular. Watamote. Yeah, I mean, this is the manga, which is basically just like a slice of life cringe compilation. But it's pretty good. It's really ridiculous. It's actually genuinely funny. I didn't really find it cringy as much as a lot of people say it is. But yeah, I thought it was incredibly hilarious. For the comedy aspect alone, I actually would consider this a really high score, like a 9 out of 10. But considering everything, like art, story, characters, it's probably more like a 7 out of 10 so far. I've heard it gets better, but yeah, it's above average, but nothing like crazy. Alright. Ace Attorney, Miles Edgeworth Investigations #1. This is kind of, baby's first case closed, but it has a lot of nice references to the games in them. They're constantly, like, saying things and doing things which are, like, exactly what you do in the video games, but it's not the exact same story. It's a different storyline that was made up for this series. So if you're a fan of the Ace Attorney video games, I would highly recommend this one. As, like, a Ace Attorney fan service piece, I'd probably give, like, an 8 out of 10. As a standalone manga, objectively in the manga world, with so many other things you could be reading right now, I wouldn't give it a very high score. I'd probably give it, like, a 6 out of 10. But if you're a fan, it definitely gets bumped up, because the Ace Attorney fan service, really good. Next up, My Dress Up Darling. Uh, Basically, it's about a girl who wants to get into cosplay and a boy who works at a doll making shop because he lives with his grandpa, and his grandpa has been a doll maker his entire life, and so he knows how to make clothes. So he makes clothes for her, and it's a romance series between Gojo and this girl. I don't even remember her name. um, it's etchy. It's an etchy series, but it's also a cute romance when it tries to be. It's pretty decent, not gonna lie. I'd probably give this series like a 7 out of 10. One more series, which I have been reading and I haven't talked about yet. That would be this. JoJo's Part 3. I have finished JoJo's Part 3 finally. I read these 2 volumes, and then I read it on the Viz app to save money. It's like $2 a month for a pretty big catalog of Viz mangas. And yeah, I finished it on there, and I loved it a lot. This series gets a lot of flack. A lot of people say, like, Part 3 is the worst in JoJo's and whatever the heck. I loved it. I thought it was great. Honestly, I probably would give this, like, no joke, I would give JoJo Part 3 a 9 out of 10. I actually loved it a lot. I thought it was very strong, even compared to the other JoJo stuff I've read. And I know that's kind of strange, because a lot of people say this is the worst JoJo part. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just because I haven't read past it, but I've seen the animes. But I liked it a lot. I would give this a 9 out of 10. And I thought it was very strong. Very, very good. I mean, it's JoJo's, you know. It's kind of hard to explain. You're either a JoJo's fan or you're not. If you want to get into JoJo, I would recommend starting the anime. And then if you like the anime, read the manga after that. Because, in my opinion, the first 2 parts in the anime are stronger than their manga counterparts. But then for the rest of the parts, it's actually the opposite. So I'd recommend starting with the anime if you want to get into JoJo's. But yeah, I love it a lot. JoJo's is a classic series. You know, I know Part 3 gets a lot of flack. A lot of people say it's the worst, but hey, I like it. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. This isn't like my normal content. I usually do pickups videos most of the time because I tend to ramble way too much. But, yeah. I'll probably make more videos like this. We'll see. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.